I will explain the three ISO, which are ISO 14001, ISO 45001, and ISO 9001. So for the first one is ISO 14001. ISO 14001 is the Environmental Management System (EMS) that provides organization with a framework to protect the environment and respond to any change in environmental conditions in balance with socio-economic needs. Next is ISO 45001. This ISO is about an occupational health and safety management system (OHSMS) that provides a framework for managing OHS risk and opportunity that prevent work-related injury and also ill health to workers and provide safe and healthy workplace. The last one is ISO 9001. It is a quality management system (QMS) that provides organization with a systematic approach to consistently provide product and service that meet customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. Now, let's see the comparison for all the three ISO. So, under class 4, the subclass 4.1, which is understanding the organization and its context. Based on the table above, all the three ISO shall determine the external and also internal issues that are relevant to their own purpose to achieve the extended outcome of their own management system. For subclass 4.2, which is the understanding the needs and expectation of interested party, all the three ISO shall determine the relevant interested parties to their management system. It also shall determine the requirements of these interested parties. In addition, for ISO 14001, the organization shall determine which of these needs and also expectations become its compliance obligations, while for ISO 45001 is the organization shall determine which of these needs and expectations are or could become legal requirement and also other requirements. For the subclass 4.3, which is determine the scope, the three ISO shall determine the boundaries and applicability of their management system to establish the scope. For ISO 14001, the organizational shall consider the organizational units, functions, and physical boundaries, while for ISO 9001, they should consider the requirement of relevant interested parties. But ISO 45001, the organization shall consider the plan or the perform work related to their activities. The last subclass in the class 4 is 4.4, which is management system. For ISO 14001, they should to achieve the intended outcome, including enhancing its environmental performance. The organization shall establish, implement, and also maintain and continually improve an environmental management system, including the process needed and their interaction in accordance with requirement of the international standard. The second one is ISO 9001. The organization shall determine the process needed for the quality management system, and they shall determine the inputs required and the output expected from this process. The second one is assign the responsibility and the authority for this process, address the risk and opportunity what they have, evaluate this process and implement any changes needed, and last but not least is improve the processes and the quality management system. Lastly is about ISO 45001. The organization shall establish, implement, maintain, and also continually improve an OHS management system, including the process needed and their interaction in accordance with the requirement of this document.
we're diving into three essential ISO standards: ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and ISO 45001. These standards play a crucial role in quality management, environmental management, and occupational health and safety. Let's explore how they differ and where they align. First, let's briefly introduce each standard. ISO 9001 focuses on quality management system (QMS) to ensure organizations meet customer and regulatory requirements and enhance customer satisfaction. ISO 14001 centers on environmental management system (EMS), helping organizations improve their environmental performance through more efficient use of resources and reduction of waste, while ISO 14001 is dedicated to occupational health and safety management system (OSH), aiming to reduce workplace risks and enhance worker safety. Despite their different focuses, these standards share several similarities. Let's look at the key components they all cover. In leadership commitment, ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and ISO 45001 all require strong leadership and commitment. Top management must demonstrate leadership by integrating the respective management systems into business processes and ensuring the necessary resources are available. In planning, all three standards emphasize planning. They require organizations to consider risks and opportunities and set objectives accordingly. For example, ISO 9001 focuses on quality objectives, ISO 14001 on environmental goals, and ISO 45001 on health and safety targets. In support, these standards highlight the importance of support functions, including competence, awareness, communication, and documented information. Ensuring employees are trained and aware of their roles is critical across all standards. Now, let's discuss some specific requirements and differences. In the context of the organization, ISO 9001 emphasizes understanding internal and external factors that affect quality management, while ISO 14001 focuses on environmental factors and how they impact their organizations, and ISO 45001 considers workplace hazards and risks, emphasizing a safe working environment. Next, each standard requires a policy statement. ISO 9001 have quality policy, ISO 14001 have environmental policy, and ISO 45001 have OSH policy. These policies must be communicated within the organization and made available to interested parties. For the risks and opportunities, ISO 9001 focuses on risks and opportunities affecting the quality management system. ISO 14001 emphasizes environmental risks and opportunities, including aspects and impacts, while ISO 45001 deals with occupational health and safety risks and opportunities, emphasizing hazard identification and risk assessment. For the operational control, ISO 9001 addresses process control to ensure product and service conformity. ISO 14001 focuses on operational controls to manage significant environmental aspects. ISO 45001 ensures control measures are in place to manage health and safety risks, including emergency preparedness. While these standards have their unique focus areas, integrating them can provide a comprehensive management system that addresses quality, environmental, and health and safety concerns. This integrated approach can streamline processes, reduce duplication of efforts, and improve overall efficiency. Integrating ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and ISO 45001 can lead to several benefits, which are: first, improve efficiency and effectiveness. Second, reduce costs through streamlined processes. Third, enhance compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. Fourth, increase stakeholder confidence and satisfaction. Understanding the similarities and differences between ISO 9001, ISO 14001, and ISO 45001 help the organizations effectively implement and integrate these standards. Thank you.
Now, I will present the comparison between each ISO about support and operation. So, each ISO have different support system because each one of them have different purposes. For example, ISO 9001 was made for quality management system. ISO 14001 was made for environmental management system, and ISO 45001 was made for occupational safety and health management. So, each ISO required different support system and operation so that they can achieve their objective successfully. Continuing the earlier part, all ISO were different from each other, but some parts of the support system remain the same. The main part for support system are resources, competence, awareness, communication, and documented information. The thing that differentiate the ISO from each other is the addition in some of the parts mentioned earlier. Even though most of the part is the same, there are some addition that causes the ISO to differentiate from each other because each ISO have different objectives. For ISO 9001, which is quality management system, it focus more on the resource part where it mentioned many sub-points for it, such as general, people, infrastructure, environment for the operation processes, and monitoring and measuring the resources. This was done to make sure that the product was made clear and excellent. For ISO 14001 and ISO 45001, they share almost the same requirements for their support part. But in the communication sub-point, both ISO have additional points which are internal communication and external communication. Other than that, it's all the same with ISO 9001. Continuing for the operation aspect, each ISO have distinguished operation method as objective between them is different. So, this led to lots of changes in the operation part to make sure each ISO achieve their goals successfully. So, same as the support part, ISO 9001 prioritize very much on the operation aspect as it deals with the quality of the product. Usually, each ISO have 2 main points, but ISO 9001 have 7 main points, which is operational planning and control, requirements for products and services, design and development of products and services, control of externally provided process, products and services, production and service provision, release of products and services, and control of non-conforming outputs. All of this was made because they want to make sure that the products was delivered successfully with the highest quality that they can give. So lastly, the operation for ISO 14001 and ISO 45001. Both of the ISO have the same 2 main points, which are operational planning and control and emergency preparedness and response. However, there are slight differences between each ISO's operation. For the ISO 14001, it has the shortest explanation as it only covers about the environmental management, while ISO 45001 have some additional sub-points for the operational planning so that it can eliminate the occupational safety and health hazard and it can take care of the workers successfully. So that's all about the operation and support system between all ISO.
Comparison on the performance evaluation and improvement. For the aspect monitoring and measurement, all three standards require organization to determine what need to be monitored and measured. These methods need to be used and frequency these activities. ISO 40001 and ISO 45001 place a specific emphasis on legal and compliance requirements relevant to environmental and occupational health and safety aspect. For the internal audit, regular internal audit are mandated across all three standards to verify the conformance with the respective management system requirement and effectiveness in implementation. The scope of frequency of audit are determined by the organization but must cover all critical aspects for the management system. For the aspect management review, there are common requirements in these three standards. They are involved top management evaluating the overall performance of the management system to ensure it remains suitable, adequate, and effective. This review focuses on identifying opportunities for the improvement and necessary change. For the focus area, ISO 9001 empathies customer satisfaction and feedback as key performance indicator. ISO 40001 focus on the significant environmental impact and compliance with environmental regulation. And for ISO 45001 center on the OHS performance, worker participation, and compliance with OHS law and regulation. Move to the improvement. There are 5 improvements. First is all the standard are empathized. This based on thinking, although the specific vary by focus on quality, environmental impact, or occupational health and safety. Second is high level structure in ISO 9001 and ISO 40001 and later in ISO 45001 facilitate an easier integrate of this management system. Next is leadership involvement and commitment have been significantly enhanced across all standards. Next is both ISO 40001 and ISO 45001 require a consideration of life cycle impact and the organization context, promoting on a holistic approach. And last is more flexible documentation requirement in ISO 9001 and ISO 40001, which is allow a organization to manage information in a way that best and suit their needs.